So now we're ready to learn how to use the microscope. So I have two to show you because they have slightly different light sources. So I've carried them over using one hand on the arm, one hand on the base. I uncovered, I plugged in my microscope, and now I'm going to show you the two different light sources. So on this type of microscope, the light source is here. So you can hear it click on, and then that will increase the intensity of the light, or click off. On this other scope, there is an on-off switch here. You can see it lights up when it's on. And I can change the intensity of the light here with this dial. So I can make it really bright, which is not usually what we want to do, or I can turn it down a little. So generally you want to turn it down so that you don't have eye strain, but you can still see your specimen. So now let's mount a slide on the stage. So the first thing I did was I got my slide. I'm going to clean it with lens paper to make sure that it's nice and clean and I can see all these great blood slides. And then I'm going to mount it on the stage of the microscope. So this microscope, I just put it in, open up the calipers, push it all the way back. You can see it's all the way back, and then let it go. When I move the slide, I'm not going to push the calipers. I'm going to come over here and I can move my slide left and right, or I can move it forward and backward. And just sort of a little hint for positioning your slide is if you look from the side, you can usually see the beam of light coming up through something colored on the slide, and that'll give you kind of a good indication that you are in the right vicinity to see something. So one of the things students often say is, oh no, I can't see anything. The problem here is the objective lens, the 4x objective lens, is just way too far away from the slide for you to see anything. Okay, so step one, I'm using my 4x objective. I'm going to use the coarse focus. I could also use the fine, but it won't move the stage as much, to move the slide up. And while I do that, I'm going to look in the ocular lenses and wait to see those teeny tiny blood slides come into focus. And they are just about in focus. Getting there. Right, so you can see I have to move the stage up quite a bit to see what's on my slide. And there we go. So you can see I moved it up quite a bit. The next thing I'm going to do, step 2, is I'm going to slide the 10x objective into place, right? And you can hear it click. That's how you know it's in the right place. And I'm going to do the same thing. I do not move the stage down when I change objectives because I make more work for myself. And this is a parfocal microscope. So again, I'm going to use the coarse focus, and I should only have to do, just a little bit of adjustment. I might even use the fine focus if I'm really well in focus. And then I'm going to switch to the 40x objective. Oh no, you think it might hit? It won't hit. You know, the only time you might see a 40x lens hit the slide is if you've lowered the stage and you're trying to bring it back up, or if you use the coarse focus, which you cannot use. You can only use fine focus 40x. Only use the fine focus because you're only doing very fine or minute adjustments. So if you watch my hands, I'm in focus. I barely rotated. So now I can see my beautiful blood slides, and I can move the stage around because I know I have some, it's a beautiful little eosinophil in there. So if I want to see this eosinophil, I want to make sure as I'm increasing magnification, that it's in the center of my field of view as I'm changing magnification. Otherwise, it'll just end up blown out of the field. Now, I'm going to use the oil immersion lens so I can see these really fine granular features of my white blood cells. So the way that I do this is I've gone from the 4x objective using either the coarser fine focus. I moved to the 10x objective and focused again using the coarser fine focus. I moved to the 40x objective lens, and I only used the fine focus to just fine tune the focus. And now I'm going to put oil on my slide. So this is my oil immersion lens, and what I want to do, you can see that it moves, is I put a drop of oil on my slide. So you got to put enough, but not too much. So you can see about the size of my dot right in the center. And then I'm going to swing my oil immersion lens into the oil. And again, only use the fine focus because I should only have to do very, very minimal adjustment. And I have a beautiful eosinophil right smack in the middle of that slide. Right, so then I would spend some time looking at these beautiful blood slides. And when I'm ready to take my slide off of the stage and look at a different slide, I'm not gonna go back this way because then I'm gonna put my 40x lens in the oil and then I'm gonna have to clean that bad boy. So I'm gonna go the other way. Go this way, put my 4x lens back in place, and then I can take my slide off the stage like that. You can see there is oil on that slide that has to be cleaned off. So not just a cursory wipe. I'm going to wipe it off first with lens paper, and then I'm going to use an alcohol wipe to really get that oil off. And at the end of the day, when I'm done with this beautiful piece of scientific machinery, I will turn the light off, lower the stage, make sure that the 4x lens is in place, unplug it, rewrap my cord, put the cover on, and use 2 hands, one on the arm, one on the base, to put it back in the cabinet.